tuned in.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Fishbowl Radio Network, FBRN.US. You are now logged on to the Gray Stream, and you're listening to the Commish Radio Show with your Commissioner, Ed Gray. What's going on, sir?
Nothing much, nothing but the bad weather that it seems to be out there. So we want everyone that's tuning in right now to go ahead and, put that telephone down and get you a nice cup of coffee or whatever and listen in to the Commish Radio Show and think about tomorrow. It's not going to be like this. And you can also watch, of course, you can watch Inside Texas Politics, where you can catch me at 9 on 8, and we got all of these cameras going around. All these cameras. I'm looking at this camera right here, and that's Dr. Mo's camera. I'm looking at the Fishbowl Radio camera, and I'm also looking at, our YouTube station camera. YouTube, Ed Gray 1906. You can follow me there. You can also follow me on Instagram and also Twitter, Ed Gray 1906. We got a very exciting show today. During this first hour, I brought along, everyone asked me, they said, Dr. Gray, Dr. Gray. I'm not a doctor yet. I'm going for my comps next week, so I'll be able to do that. But right now, I brought a real doctor in, my doctor, Dr. Mo Anderson. How you doing?
I am doing great. Glad to be here, Ed.
I'm glad that you are here. I see you got your product placement and everything.
While I'm here.
I see that. You saw the show last week, obviously, so you know exactly where to go ahead and put your book and everything.
I was paying attention. It's a great program.
I see. Thank you very much. We really go back. A lot of people, when they come on the show, they're friends. But we've been friends now for how many years has it been?
At least 15 or 20.
15
Seriously.
or 20 years.
Like real friendship, not just Facebook.
No, Facebook friendship is you like somebody, you follow them, and you don't know anything about them.
Right.
Dr. Mo and I have been friends for a long time. We both mentored students, and young men and women both, and we've kept that friendship going. I think you moved away for a little while.
I did. We met because I was your dentist in Arlington, where I practiced and raised my family. They went to Arlington schools, and then when my youngest graduated, I moved to Austin. And I was there 8 years working, got involved in that community, very dynamic place. But my oldest son got married and had kids and grandchildren. I was on 35 all the time. So after about 8 years, I said, let me just go back. I had no grandchildren when I moved, and I had no idea. People tell you, but just an amazing thing. So very, very blessed.
It's been a long time.
It has.
It's been a long time, and you had said earlier that you were my dentist. You're still my favorite dentist. Gary, I'm gonna tell you right now, you didn't know that this was my dentist, right?
No, I was unaware, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is a good friend of mine, and she's also an author. She's written several books. The first book that you wrote, what was it called?
My first book was Black English Vernacular. I wrote that while I was in Minnesota, and it did really well. It came out right before the Oakland School District tried to make Ebonics a language, and it's led to 5 other books. So I've done fiction and nonfiction now, and you are very nice and supportive. You have all of my books.
Yeah.
Success is a side effect.
Yeah, I got most of them. Success is a side effect.
That's my most recent one, and it's I have 3 novels, and one that's a collection of columns from when I wrote for the Star Telegram, and one on Black English Vernacular, and then my latest Success is a Side Effect is professional development.
Now how long were you writing for the Star Telegram?
I wrote for them 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah, I wrote a weekly column while I was practicing dentistry, and had a GNC franchise and cable television programs.
See, I followed in your footsteps. See, you were telling me about all the stuff I did. But,
well, you've been doing this for 4 years, which is amazing. Congratulations.
No, well, thank you. But, GNC franchise, I used to go there and get healthy and everything.
Thank you for your support.
And then let's fix her mic up.
It's a little loose. It's loose. I bumped it too.
So, you good?
I'm
okay.
Good.
All right. And
just wash my hands. That's my Italian.
And-
My ancestry and me Italian coming out.
in dentistry.
Dentistry, right.
Where'd you get your dentistry degree from?
Went to Baylor undergrad and the University of Minnesota School of Dentistry. And even though my kids grew up in Arlington, they were born in Minnesota.
And you and I, through our not political connection, just was civic
That's
connection.
right, community service. We both have always been very involved in the community.
You in Leadership Arlington, right?
I was in Leadership Arlington, Leadership Austin, Leadership.
Everywhere you go, you're a
Minnesota.
leader.
You know what? I find when you take those courses right now, I'm in the American Dental Association's Leadership Institute for Diversity, and which is how this project came about that we're going to talk about. But don't you find that that is the quickest way to gain access to people who have choices, who have influence, who can,
That's true.
move
That's
an
true.
agenda forward.
That's
and
true.
they literally, that's part of the courses, is to introduce you to people in leadership positions.
Now I'm gonna ask you this, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to the reason why you're here. And the reason why you're here is because of you and your great civic involvement. So all of this is basically comprehensive of being Dr. Mo Anderson.
Thank you.
Rope challenge. Did you do the rope challenge in Leadership Arlington? Ah, you got out of it.
I
That's
don't
the
remember
challenge
the
where
rope
you
challenge.
where you go up the telephone pole, get up to the very top of the telephone
And
pole.
jump and grab a.
Yeah, but
Yes,
you have
I
to
did.
stand on the telephone pole, on top of the telephone pole, but then you jump off the telephone pole and catch a rope, and then go.
I did, but it wasn't just a rope, it was like a trapeze thing, and it was still just hanging there, and you had to jump, stand on the pole, which was kind of high. I remember that, man, that had slipped my mind. But I tell you what just came back to me is that we had a few guys go, and they were able to do it, and then a couple of women goes, the people who worked, they were showing us how to do it. They went, and of course they were able to do it, and then a couple of ladies went, and they fell. And so they say, you know what, the women always fall. Well, all you need to do is tell me that I couldn't do something. So I watched the next couple of people, and I realized that when the guys jumped, they kept their elbows bent and kind of pulled as their weight hit the trapeze. And that was my, nerdy part coming out, that I'm assessing the physics of it. And the women who went before me were just kind of straight armed, and they couldn't hold it. So when I jumped, I hung on and pulled up, and that was actually quite a great memory. Thank you. But
I see you got off into it.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I hung on.
You got
I
off
did.
into it. Like at first, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, I'm with you a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
I remember that was pretty exciting. I was, I've had I've been blessed to do a lot of pretty amazing things, skydiving and other things. So sometimes it's a little dusty, but it's there.
Yeah,
It's there. All of those experiences.
because when we went through my class, when we went through that, they had your picture of you going across the field and everything.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
Really?
No, I'm not. Yeah, they had your picture. So I get up on there, and I'm like 275, so I get up on there, and first they said, yeah, you should be able to do this real well because
Got that upper body, yeah.
then your telephone pole, you go where you work for the phone company, you go up to a telephone pole. I said we were always taught not to jump off of telephone poles.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get up there, and then I wasn't astute as you were about figuring out how to grab it. I just went out there, reached it, grabbed it, and just held on for dear
Just
life.
naturally did it.
Yeah.
Did that, and the big cheer went up,
Yeah.
and the crowd went wild. I know they
Yeah.
did.
My name was Eagle Ed. What was yours?
Now that I can't remember.
You can't remember?
I cannot recall, but I do remember it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot
Team
of fun.
building,
Team
yeah.
building. That's what it was. It was a lot of team building, and you became my dentist as well. Like I said, you're only one of the few people who was all up in my grill and everything. But hey.
It was you're one of my favorite patients of all time. And
I'm
not
the
just
only
saying
I'm the
that.
only patient that's ever interviewed you on the radio show.
You actually are.
I always want to be
You
the first.
absolutely are.
I always want to be the first.
There you go.
So tell us about the reason why you're here. Drop the drugs. What is that?
Drop the Drugs is a community service initiative that I started as part of. I applied to become a member of the American Dental Association's Institute for Diversity and Leadership. And we go quarterly and meet in Chicago at the headquarters, and they bring in management school experts from Duke and Chicago, Northwestern to instruct us with the goal of sending us back into our communities across the country to start a project, an awareness campaign. People have opened a clinic, mentoring programs, encouraging people to get into dentistry, whatever you want to do. Well, at the time, because I have to keep my license, I'm licensed in 3 states, I was reading a lot about opioids and addiction. And as I read more, I read things like 9 out of 10 accidental poisonings occur in the home in children under 4 years old. 2/3 of teens who report abusing drugs, it's prescription drugs that they took from aunties, uncles, grandparents. That was alarming to me. And then 78 people a day are dying from prescription drug overdose. So I thought, there's a lot of white papers, there's a lot of task force, there's legislation in place. What about trying to get these leftover unused drugs out of the home? And you know about Take Back Day. We just had one in April. The DEA hosts Take Back Day. You bring your drugs and literally drop them off. Well, I found out in Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, all over the country, there are kiosks and hospitals and law enforcement departments year-round, permanent drop-off location. And a lot of people don't know. I didn't know with 30 years in healthcare. A lot of my friends didn't.
I thought what you were supposed to do was just drop it down in the toilet. You mean that's not what you're supposed to do?
No. The EPA, CDC, the water treatment facilities are finding levels of antibiotics and anti-anxiety drugs and mood stabilizers in our drinking water. And you think about millions of pills, prescriptions that are written, and you can't customize. I mean, pain is subjective. It varies the rate of healing. So as doctors, prescribers, we'll never be able to know exactly that you need 4 pills. I need 5 pills. So what people do, which I've done, I've had surgery for cancer twice, major surgeries, but the first time and the second time I didn't know about this. So when I felt like I can tolerate this pain, I don't want this in my house, I put it down the toilet. And you can read that right now on healthcare websites, but it's seeping into the drinking water. So we need to dispose of it properly, which is at these disposal drop-off sites, which people can locate the one nearest them at Drop the Drugs on Facebook, Drop the Drugs USA on Twitter, and dropthedrugs.org, which is our website.
Now that's something new. Dropping the drugs. Now I know a lot of you thought dropping the drugs, we were talking about just drugs, that you were buying that you weren't supposed to be buying. You're talking about drugs that you supposed to buy, that you've already bought, that's inside your house, and how to properly dispose of it.
Right, and they expire. I bought, and we're talking about cough syrup, decongestants. There's a reason you have to show your driver's license now to get those drugs. These teens are experimenting, they're abusing drugs. My parents had some bottles in their home, some vials that were so old, the labels were turning colors. You just kind of keep it thinking I might get sick again. But when they expire, they lose their effectiveness, some can become toxic. And we have seniors that are mixing drugs up because the bottles are very similar, can't read the name. So you just need to clean them out, and then you know what you have. Inventory it so that, and keep it secure, because even say a young person gets some because of pain, third molar extractions, you need to make sure they're not selling them. You keep up with them, you inventory, you make sure everybody knows they have them.
Okay. We want to make sure we keep everyone properly engaged. Who do you have over there on your camera, Dr. Mo? Who?
That is Drop the Drugs, Facebook Live. Hey, everybody, and I have good eyes, but I can't see.
You can't see that phone?
And thank you for joining us. Please.
So, go ahead, Strip, read it out. Who are
I was going to say we got Shelby Jenkins and Mike Mitchell. They say, hello, Dr. Mo. And then we have Carla Frazier.
Hey, that's Dr. Carla Frazier,
Dr.
who is
Carla
my dentist.
Oh, you got a dentist?
I have a dentist.
That's a good question. Dentist, if you're a dentist, who do you refer to as a dentist, and do you critique them when hey?
I have two. I have her in Austin, Dr. Carla Frazier, and my other dentist, of course, here, Dr. Marie Holiday. And yes, I give them heck. I had to catch myself on what I was getting ready to say. I know too much. I know I know what the sound might mean in regards to the handpiece or verb broke. I know what can happen with the anesthetic if the needle is in the wrong place, and they are excellent, which is why I go to them.
But you still critique them.
I do.
Dr. Frazier. Yeah.
She's nodding over there.
Yeah.
She is not. They both allow extra time when I come in, which is not very
So
often.
it's the time for the dentistry and it's the time for the complaints of what they did wrong.
No, not complaints, just anxiety. I'll be honest.
Anxiety.
I have anxiety because I know too much about what can go wrong.
Okay. All right. So now we're talking about the drugs, and what can go wrong is that we can put this down the toilet, and it gets into the water stream, right?
Yes, it's possible.
It's
They
possible.
are finding levels, and if we keep doing it with millions of prescriptions being written a year, most water treatment systems and septic tanks can't remove all of it. So, as I said, the CDC and EPA has published information showing that they're finding levels of it. I mean, I want my drinking water as pure and clean as possible. You saw I was drinking smart water, alkaline
So you don't
water.
trust none of the water.
I do. I trust it, but I know what's going to happen if we just keep polluting it.
Okay.
Nothing good will come of that. And speaking of, we brought you a Drop the Drugs T-shirt, so you
Okay.
can join the journey, support the cause.
All right, we're
because
gonna take a picture of
ultimately-
that.
Let's
Yeah.
do it. We're talking about decreasing access. Just don't have drugs around the home where anyone can get into them. Don't have them where your grandkids or teens can open them. You're most welcome. And dispose of the promptly unused leftover drugs.
Now,
Drop them.
why? This is a question, that I ask all of the people who come on the show when they into a cause. Why? Why did you do this?
When I see that 78 people a day are dying from prescription opioids, and that it is the leading cause of death now, that you're more likely to die from overdose than you are from a heart attack. And I remember when we were all up in arms about cholesterol, that is a problem. And it's not drug addicts, it's not people in alleys. There's no socioeconomic, there's no ethnicity, there's no gender. People try these drugs, they get addicted either because they're in chronic pain or they're misusing them for something they shouldn't be used for. I'm saving my surgery pills and now I'm taking them for my ankle and I'm taking them for my sore throat. And these drugs cause dopamine to be released. And dopamine is a really good feeling, and for some people, for a lot of people, that becomes an addiction. So I'm seeing that, and that bothers me. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with my grandchildren possibly being in someone's home doing a sleepover, and they've got prescription drugs sitting out where they could get access to them. And I'm not okay with the environment being polluted. I've been on both sides of that prescription. I've been in very severe pain from 2 abdominal surgeries and having my stomach literally removed. I know what it feels like to be in pain. And I've been the one writing the prescription. And so that's a unique position for me to have empathy for both. But we can't keep going in the direction we're going.
Now, do you know of anyone that is personally something bad happened to them because of this?
You know, I was on a radio program on Wednesday evening, and a young man, Stephen, said that he said that he was happy I'm doing this initiative because he's in his, they don't want to be called millennials, I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but he's around 30.
I don't know. Let's ask somebody.
And
Strip,
he said,
you're the subject matter expert here.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Hey, do you prefer? Is it okay that we call you a millennial?
Yeah, go for it. It's
okay,
cool. I
because
appreciate
it's
that.
getting a negative connotation with some people. I don't feel any kind of way about millennials, but some people are like, I'm not a millennial, so.
You can call me a millennial too.
Oh,
if you
right,
like.
right. You and me both. But he said that, Stephen said that he had tried to commit suicide. He said he'd never taken pills. He wasn't a pill guy, but he got depressed. And we know that mental illness is real. We're also talking about mental health, which is important.
Right. This is the month.
Absolutely.
Ironically, we have months in which we talk about something, and then the next month we talk about something else.
As if it went away.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just a problem that month. So he took his mom's pills. He had access to them. Of course, she never intended for that to happen, had no idea what was going on with him. And he almost died. And I'm hearing this over and over. If you look at our Facebook page, there's testimonies from people that they're like, oh, great, I almost died when I was a kid. My friend Susan Carnes, who was in junior league with me said that, and I didn't know this. When she was a child, she got into some fields and almost died. It's happening a lot in
See, that brings home the story. It's much more than just drop the drugs and you're trying to do something good, which is not a problem with that. But now it's drop the drugs and this is how it affects me because my friends have been affected, so therefore I've been affected as well.
well, my